Hello, everybody, and welcome to Late Night Football back again with a match reaction show. It's finished Arsenal 4, Leeds 2. Interesting game. It was a much different game from the one that we saw earlier between West Brom and Manchester United. This was much more different, but that's what Leeds do. And I mean, it was interesting, but I mean, as Adele says, Meslier. I think Meslier was ultimately at fault for three of the four goals. Definitely, I think he didn't have a good game today. Absolutely not a good game today. The Arsenal looked very, very good, very clinical in the first half. They had a couple of chances in the second half. I think Saka should have scored, which he hit the post. Aubameyang should have scored and he hit the post, but he did get a hat trick as well. But I mean, it all starts with the goalkeeper, for Leeds, doesn't it? The first goal, Aubameyang scores, should be doing better. Got a little bit flat-footed, but it's at him. At first I thought it was near the corner, but it wasn't. It was actually very close to him, and he just doesn't get a proper hand to it, so he lets that go in. Um, then there should have been a penalty with VAR. I thought it was a penalty when I first saw it, and apparently the referee once again the referee gives it a penalty. Then he goes to see it and changes his mind. I don't know where what happens here in terms of what he sees on the screen that convinces him that it's not a penalty. But to me, it just looked like a penalty. And sometimes it's just weird with VAR. It really is. But I thought it was a penalty. VAR tells him to go take a look, and he doesn't give it a penalty. But Leeds are so insistent on giving penalties that they decide, we'll give you another one. And Meslier or Meslier just makes a mess of what is a simple pass back. It tries to take a bit too long. Saka, who was excellent today, I thought he was really brilliant today. Again, gets at him and he fouls him, and then it's a penalty. Aubameyang converts it nicely. That was another goal that Meslier should have avoidable, really. And really, those are not the kind of goals that you should be conceding. So there was two goals, and then the third goal, which Bellerin scored, again, brilliant finish, but again, near post. You expect Meslier to do better and try and save it. A good goalkeeper should be saving that. So I thought he just had a poor day at the office. I thought Arsenal were excellent. Leeds were giving away the ball a lot, but that's the way Leeds plays, high risk, high reward kind of play that they have, where they'll take a lot of risks and a lot of chances. And the problem for Bielsa and for Leeds is that the kind of football that they want to play, they don't have the players that can play it. I mean, the fact is that these are basically championship or lower mid-table players that are trying to play the kind of game which, to be successfully executed against teams of Arsenal's quality, you need better than that. So it will come off against the smaller teams. It's one of the reasons why Leeds are where they are. They are like in around the mid-table area. The reason why they are there is because they have a very good team, and against most of the smaller teams, the teams that are in the bottom half, they can blow them away, and they will blow them away in most games. They can do really, really well. The problem is when they try to play that same way against teams, like the Manchester Cities, the Chelseas, the Arsenals. The issue that happens is that they don't necessarily have the team that can pull it off. They can still pull off the odd win like they did against Leicester, but by and large, you feel that it actually plays into the big team's hands, because then they get a lot of space to attack, and they have spaces to exploit that. So I think for next season, the key would be to try and see if they can get better players that can execute the style of play that Bielsa wants. I think this season was all about making sure that they stay in the Premier League. I think by and large they've achieved that now, so they can now start looking at next season and what they can do in terms of upgrading the players that they've got, and maybe trying and bringing in better players, who can execute the style of play that they want to execute. But credit to Arsenal, let's do. I mean, they looked excellent today. I think Emil Smith Rowe and Bukayo Saka were excellent again, as usual. Um, I just, it's Saka. Every time you watch him, he looks so good. The only question is he going to fulfill his ambitions and potential at Arsenal, or will the vultures be circling around thinking let's get him to some other big club? I mean, it's just a tricky one to answer for me. At the moment, I don't know what the answer is. I mean, I think he's still young enough that he should probably not be looking at a move right now. Just try and get as much game time as he can. But at what point do you start asking the questions with Arsenal? But I mean, this is not a controversial statement. This is not something of trying to create some kind of gossip or rumors. I don't have the cachet anyway to do that. But it's interesting to see him and the way he's playing. He just looks at a different level. There are not that many wingers this season that have been better than him. He just looks good, and he looks good every time I see him. I'm yet to see him have a really bad game, like a shocking game. I think he's had a few what do you call 6 out of 10 performances, but I think he's had a 5 or 4 out of 10. I don't think I've seen him have that. So he's definitely one to watch out for. Same with Smith Rowe, who just looks like Arsenal look like a different team when those two play together. It's quite obvious what they bring to the table is really beautiful. Odegaard, got his first start today. I thought he looked good as well for what he was there. I mean, it wasn't a great performance, but he did what he needed to do, kept things ticking. He'll probably get better and better as he gets more games under his belt, as he plays a bit more. He'll start to understand what needs to be required. But now Arsenal, it might be too late this season for the Premier League, but for the Europa League, at least they've got a fantastic dynamite trio there. I mean, they've got Smith Rowe, they've got Odegaard, they've got Saka, they've got Martinelli as well. In this, they've got players now that around whom I think they can, they don't, because if they're not in any of the competition, they can probably rotate the squad a little bit once they get deeper into the Europa League and try and make a fist of it. And that I don't know if they're going to win it, but they've got a very good team that is capable of going far in the competition if they can keep their heads and collectively work hard. I think that there's an opportunity there. I mean, Willian, there's nothing much to say. I was a bit surprised when he came on for Smith Rowe, but for a player who's supposed to come on and provide defensive solidity, I think Leeds just looked much better when Willian came on. So I mean, it's a transfer that hasn't worked out. I mean, let's be honest, it's a transfer that hasn't worked out for Arsenal, and it's one of those things. It was a surprising deal why it was done in the first place. Because I mean, this is one of the things that I never understand with Arsenal is why you want to always take Chelsea's cast-offs, because Chelsea are the level that you want to aspire to at the moment. Chelsea, a top 4 team. That's the level that Arsenal want to get to right now, is to become a top 4 team and then eventually, hopefully, kick on from there. But if you want to get to a top 4 level, you're looking at a team that's discarding a player that they believe is not good enough anymore. They're discarding him. So, why would you want to buy that? Why would you want, it's not going to help you get to the next level if you're buying discards from another rival. You've got to look at players that can improve the team. So, to me, it's not worked. The unfortunate reality is that he will play games. It's a bit easy, for us all, and I'm guilty of it as well. We always talk about this player shouldn't play again. I don't want to see this player playing. And it makes sense. In some ways, we don't want to see those players playing. But the reality is, the way that the squad games are, you're going to see those players get games. You're going to see those players play. The only thing that you can hope for is that they don't start the really important games, and that when they do come on, they come on at a point where the game is already won. So they're not going to do too much damage to your team. So, or hopefully that they come on when there's not enough, when the game is won, so they don't have the pressure, and maybe they can play themselves back into form. But, Willian's not going to not play games. He's going to get games. He's probably going to start, I don't think he's going to start too many now that the FA Cup they're out of the FA Cup. So I don't think he's going to start too many. He might start as a rotation option if Arsenal go deep in the Europa League and they need to rest players. He might start those games. But he's not, I don't think he's going to start important games. He's going to come on as substitutes because Arsenal don't have a lot of bodies. So, that's just something you have to take in your stride. I don't think you can criticize Arteta too much for that. Overall, though, I thought Arsenal looked pretty good. I mean, Aubameyang, has got a lot of criticism this season, but today he showed that, he still got it. If he wants to put it, he's got it. I think he looked a lot more relieved knowing that he had Saka, Smith Rowe, and Odegaard behind him to do much of the work that needed to be done. So he didn't have to do a lot by himself. He just looked very calm, very comfortable. Which is always great. I think Arsenal overall had a good game. They had a shaky moment in that last 30, 35 minutes when, Leeds got those 2 goals, very nicely well taken. I just think that was a little bit of complacency, a little bit of perhaps taking the foot off the gas. We thought, we're 4-0 up, we're safe now. We can probably try and relax a little bit. And then Leeds caught them cold twice. That's something that they can build on. I think in some ways it's a good thing because it's from Arsenal's point of view, because now they know that they can't take things for granted and they've got to be on it for 90 minutes. It's a good learning experience for some of the players. But overall 3 points that Arsenal have got, and that's beautiful. I don't think it's going to make much of a difference to their top 4 ambitions. At the moment, it's difficult to see where Arsenal go, because at the moment, theoretically, they can still finish 7th, right, or 8th, and get into those European spots. But it's one of those things. You're already looking at about 7 or 8 clubs that you're saying. I know if you look at it, you've got Manchester City, you've got Leicester, Everton, Manchester United, Liverpool, Chelsea, Spurs, maybe West Ham. So you got those 7 teams. Probably not Villa at this point. Am I missing anyone again? I always wonder if I'm missing someone, but I'm looking at these 7 or 8 teams that you're kind of looking at trying to overhaul one of them, and they all seem at the moment, the Spurs aside, I think the other 7 teams are all sort of in contention for a Champions League spot as well. Maybe West Ham will probably drop off at some point. So, so you're kind of wondering, can Arsenal really get in there? All these teams are sort of locked in a battle for the top 4. Some of them are bound to drop off. So then do you consider Arsenal a battle for that top 7, top 8 spot? It's difficult to say at the moment, but that's, I think, I think if Arsenal go deep in the Europa League, obviously they will start looking at prioritizing the Europa League and not worrying so much about the league, because that's obviously the bigger carrot. But we'll see where that goes. I think it's a good morale boosting win. They've got Benfica this week to come, So this is a nice win for them to take into that game and try and win there. I thought everybody more or less had a good performance. I can't fault too many performances from this game. The 2 goals that were conceded, maybe the first goal Saka could have done better, in terms of making the header, but then he's a winger who's just marking somebody like Struijk. It's a little bit difficult for him to portion too much lane to him, and he did play very well today, so you can't really portion much lane to him. The second goal was Leeds at their best, and maybe somebody could have done a better job of closing down, maybe, but sometimes you also got to admit that the opposition played well for that passage of play. And I think Leeds was that. I think Leeds will definitely feel disappointed with the goals and the way that they were considered. They merely will look back and say that, yeah, you know what, I didn't have a good game today, and that happens. And hopefully that's a one-off. But I mean, that's something that he'll have to look at as well and figure out what he can do differently for the next game. So it was a bit of a flawed exhibition from Leeds, and it was a bit of a make hay while the sun shines for Arsenal. But that's the way it goes in certain games. Things there are moments in every season where there are games where things sort of go your way, and I think that happened for in the first half for Arsenal today. But they'll take it. I'm sure fans will be very happy. So it's finished. Arsenal 4, Leeds 2. Good win for Arsenal. Something for them to build on for the rest of the season. Smash a like if you enjoyed the game, if you enjoyed this video, and do tell me in the comment section what you thought of the game. Where do you think Arsenal can finish this season? Where do you think Leeds can finish this season? What are the realistic ambitions for them going forward? Let me know in the comment section what do you think. And also please remember to subscribe to the channel if you're new. Want to keep, as I've been saying, your subscription really helps in me making more videos. So please do support the channel, and we'll continue producing videos for you. So thank you so much for watching. Take care, and we'll see you again very soon. This is the last reaction video for today, but we might have some more content coming up over the week. The Champions League starts again this week, so but we're all about the Europa. That's where it's at. I'm kidding. But we'll do reactions for some of those as well. But we'll see you again very soon. Take care. Bye bye.